Shalom from Poland. What does eternal mean in the Bible? We speak of eternal life and eternal torment, meaning never ending. The Psalms speak of everlasting, eternal goodness of the Lord. All of this I appreciate and I can understand. However, in Psalm 104, verse 5, we read that the world would not be removed forever. Psalm 104:5. Isn't this forever meant to mean until the end of this dispensation, since we know that this world will be removed at the end of time? But if we make the word forever relevant only in its context, how can we be sure that the eternity of hell is truly eternal, as we would know it, meaning without end? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. The word eternal in Hebrew, olam, and in Greek, aion, may refer to a certain limited time, but it also refers to eternity, meaning without end. This will be understood by the context in which it is used. However, is there a certain rule we can apply to differentiate the timeless, ageless concept conveyed in this word, as opposed to the time-limited application? The root of the Hebrew word olam, the root is found in the word alam, pointing to what is hidden in a distant future and or even in a distant past. So the word olam, used 439 times in the Hebrew scriptures, or aion, used 122 times in the New Testament, both cover a wide range of portions of time, from a definite time such like the life of a man to an indefinite time of perpetuity in the hereafter that is revealed to us. For instance, let me give you some example. Looking at the Hebrew word olam, we read of a case in Deuteronomy chapter 15 verses 16 and 17, where after serving 7 years, if a servant decides to stay with his master, we are told that the master would take an awl and push it through the earlobe into the door, and he, the servant, will become your servant for, that is, le'olam, forever, right? Obviously, the servant will not serve forever, as we understand that this word in English, but the service would be applied only during the duration of the life of this servant. Here, le'olam is not eternal forever, it is for a set time. And this goes with many of the Mosaic laws concerning the tabernacle, the sacrifices, etc. We read, for instance, in Leviticus 3:17, which sums up the law of the peace offerings. It says it is a perpetual statute, that is forever, throughout your generation, in all your dwellings. You shall not eat any fat or any blood, and so on. The word here translated perpetual is olam, but in here it designates a limited period of time confined to the dispensation of the Mosaic law. So the word olam then is used to designate a portion of time. The rabbis use this word in the same way when they speak of two ages, right? Haze olam, that is the age we live today, and olam habad, which is the age to come. However, when it comes to the hereafter, to the timeless era that includes the presence of God, the word olam or ions both take a much further reach and are used for what is perpetual, never ending. For instance, let us see how the Hebrew word olam is applied to God. One of God's name, for instance, in the Hebrew scriptures is El Olam, the eternal God, as we read it in Genesis 21:33, also in Isaiah 40:28, or Chai HaOlam, who lives forever, in Daniel 12:7. And since we know that God is always the same, yesterday, today, and forever, he being perfect needs no change at all. So he is forever to the full extent of the word olam. So when the word is applied to our God, it is forever as we understand the word forever in English. As God said in Malachi chapter 3 verse 6, I am the Lord, I do not change. In the same way, the word olam or ion is applied to things outside the realm of this world. It is forever, which is not limited by any time frame. This applies to the duration of hell as well. as the duration of eternal security in him. As man enters the everlasting, ageless, and timeless dimension outside of our known physical realm, the word olam or ion are not limited by any frame of time. This is definitely, I want to tell you, not an easy concept to grasp, but it projects us to a dimension which there is nothing in this world we can compare it with. But because God put eternity in our hearts, we can at least perceive something of this great era that is coming soon, that this word olam, ion, project us